How do you approach that conversation if someone's really adamant about, hey, I got to see price, how do I see price? I'm curious to hear what your recommendation is there if I'm a rep.
Yeah.
Especially two lenses. If I'm an SDR and someone's adamant early on, and then maybe also if I'm an AE, if you don't mind. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
And I promise I'm not stalling. I have good lens for both. I do want to say on the heels of what you're talking about Gen Z and Gen X, the trick is that they buy very similarly. They consume content different, but they buy very similarly. The problem is that Gen X is so used to these old school sales training habits, these hide your pricing until the very last minute, withhold information. They're so used to it that they put up with it. Millennials are like, dude, screw it. This is stupid. Right. Like, so we're just sick of it. That's the difference. We buy very similarly. It's just Gen X, they're anchored to expect that. We're kind of getting tired of it as millennials. So that's something that I think is really important for people to understand is it's just, we need to adapt, right? We need to change the way, especially like you said, with information flying everywhere. Man, if you really want to be that stringent on your pricing, I'll go figure something out. Like, you're not the only name of the game. So, all right, SDRs, how do we handle it? So somebody really wants to know pricing before they take a meeting. I tell people that you need to have a set amount that you can say our base software starts at this. You need to be transparent with that because you're not doing yourself any favors if you hide it. So you know what, Ryan, I'm really glad that you're interested to know what the cost of implementing something like this would be. Frankly, I'm not the best person to speak to about that. I can let you know that our base software starts at $99 per user per month. You should be enabling your SDR team to do that. And then if they start getting into, so if I have 6 use, go, hey, I really appreciate that you're really interested in understanding like 6 months down the line what this would look like. The best person to speak to would be Ryan. He's one of our top account executives. He's familiar with XYZ persona, vertical, whatever you want to say. Would you be interested in having that conversation with him and learning a little bit more so you can walk away with all the information you need to see if it warrants a further conversation? But most people don't enable their SDRs. They say, don't talk about price. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're doing yourself a disservice because then you start throwing, trash into the pipeline that AEs come back and, mumble grumble about these unqualified opportunities. So you're not doing anybody any favors. From an AE perspective, when somebody's really interested in price, what I would typically do as an account executive and what I've advised people that are in a sales function is really just being upfront and reframing that objection in your head. Anytime I talk about objection handling, it's like actively listen to what they're saying, but understand they say something, you should be hearing something different. Even at high level SDR objection handling, you say I'm busy. I think, okay, great. I can save you a lot of time and money with whatever I'm offering based on your persona, right? You say I'm not interested. That means that you know what product or service I'm talking about. And you might even be the decision maker behind it because you know that you're not interested because you know what it is, right? So I hear things differently. I think that's the first step is anytime we're handling objections, we have to change our framing and look at it growth mindset as an opportunity, not a blocker. And so people get adamant about pricing. I go, you know what? I can give you a rough estimate of what it would be based on the information I know now, but I simply don't know enough about your business if you're saying, hey, I need a contract right now to give you that price. The reason the pricing could change as we go through the process as well is because once you see the software, there might be things you want to take out of the software and not use, or versions of the software you might want to use, and those prices could change, right? It could go up, it could go down. And at the end of the day, Ryan, if you see the software and you go, wow, this is complete trash, I don't like it, it wouldn't even matter if it was free, right? So I'm more than happy to give you a rough estimate right now with the understanding and the expectation moving forward that it could fluctuate based on your needs. Does that sound fair? Boom. Dude, that was less than 30 seconds. And now it's like, yeah, totally fair. So what are we looking at? Well, you're talking about 6 account executives, 6 SDRs. You want your directors to both have access and your SDR manager. I could tell you a ballpark you'd be between 1,500 to 2,000 a month with, 3 to 5K implementation and onboarding costs for your first 90 days. And then you just shut up and let them give you whatever objection they're going to give you, or they'll just move on. Go, okay, yeah, sounds good. And then you're like, all right, sweet, which is the perfect world scenario. But be upfront and set that in those discovery calls. I love just saying with the expectation that moving forward, this could happen. I say that to prevent getting ghosted. Hey, I want you to be okay and realize that I don't think no is a dirty word. At some point, you're going to get busy during this evaluation. You're not going to answer an email. You're not going to answer a call. You're not going to be able to get a contract signed back in my hands by the end of the week, right? I recognize that. It might be the same for me too. So let's just agree that if we get busy, we can tell each other no, but at least keep that open line of communication moving forward. Does that sound good? Yeah, it sounds great. Dude, when I learned that in 2019, I can tell you I've probably gotten ghosted 3 times post discovery in my life. I have people that
Yeah.
come back to me and would tell me, I can't get this contract signed. We don't have budget to do it. I don't get ghosted because you set that expectation
Right.
and they're like, dude, cool. This guy's awesome. All right. It's an open line of communication. I don't feel bad for you doing all this work and me saying no. Hey, I can't make that call. I got something going on. Hey, my boss said we couldn't move forward with this. It's too much out of our budget. Right. I don't get ghosted. Literally, I count on my hands how many times I've gotten ghosted since 2019 using that. But we just don't set those expectations and we think we have to play this game where it's like, I'm not my prospect's bitch and I control the conversation. Get out of here. You're in this together. That's why they don't want to work with you. And, salespeople, only 3% of people in the world trust salespeople and marketers because we're still on different sides of the table. We need to walk around and partner with them. And that's how you do that, by saying, hey, let's set these expectations. If I get married, my wife understands the expectations, right? Me and my wife understand who we are, what we're about, and the expectations of this marriage. If we didn't, we'd probably be divorced by now, right? Like that's how it works because things change over time. If you don't have the expectations of what you're trying to accomplish together and also individually, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Software is a marriage. Any sale is really a marriage.